Great news for Mercedes fans watching. The W14 is showing signs of potential. Following the disappointing 2022 season, the Silver Arrows have been burning their eyebrows off trying to fix the porpoising issues, and their hard work is finally paying off. The team, specifically team principal Toto Wolff and star driver Lewis Hamilton, have expressed satisfaction in the new car's performance. All of this praise has everybody asking, just how good is the W14? Let's find out. On Thursday, the Bahrain preseason test for F1 commenced, and the first driver to hit the track for Mercedes was George Russell. Last year, Mercedes faced difficulties due to porpoising, which emerged during testing at the Bahrain International Circuit. This year, however, Russell finished high in the standings for the German team after the first session, prompting Wolff to share positive comments about the car. It seems to be balanced in the right way. There's no bouncing, which is good news, apart from that big bump at the end of the straight. We're gathering a lot of data because that was important to correlate obviously after last year and trying different things, so a productive first morning. When talking about last year's car, which was infamously plagued with issues, Toto said, "The car was just bouncing around and we really weren't able to drive it correctly, so that is very different. I think we have a solid base now to work from and try to optimize the car, which we haven't done yet. It's really just finding out if there are any areas that could be a real performance hindrance like last year with the bouncing. We've just got to work through the program." With the W14 showing promise in testing, Toto Wolff seems to have backtracked on his statements during the car's launch not too long ago. In a press release during the launch, Toto issued a statement that didn't sound too confident in the car they've created for the upcoming season. But now, he says that the W14 may be good enough to drive Lewis Hamilton towards his 8th world title. He also talked about the importance of a car that can actually compete. You need to provide a good car for a driver who has the ambition to win races and championships, and we have that. We have a solid base and we'll try to optimize the car, which we have not done yet. Today has been about finding if there are any areas that could be a real hindrance, such as bouncing. George Russell, Mercedes' ambitious second driver who may pose a challenge to Hamilton's aspirations, concluded the first session of the 3-day program and recorded the 5th fastest time at that moment, trailing Verstappen by 1.2 seconds. Later in that day, Hamilton, who took a quick look at the Red Bull car during a filming period on the grid, took over driving duties and outperformed Russell's time, finishing 6th overall after completing 83 laps and falling short of the top by 0.671 seconds. After finishing his laps, Hamilton said, "It's good to be back in the car here in Bahrain. It was a nice, cool afternoon weather-wise, though windy. We got through our program and have gathered lots of data. We also had good reliability, which contributed to our strong mileage total. That is down to the amazing work done back at Brackley and Brixworth. We've got to keep pushing, focus on ourselves, and stay focused. It's difficult to know where we are in the order, but we'll get a better feeling in the days to come." Contract-wise, Toto believes that it is only a matter of time before Lewis signs on the dotted line with Mercedes. "I am amazed because Lewis has been with the team for 10 years, and every year he just comes back more mature, more professional, and more understanding of what is good for him. He is in high spirits and super determined." Ted Kravitz of Sky Sports F1 also expressed admiration at what Mercedes has done this year with their car, despite criticizing the car during its launch. Mercedes have got to be one of the biggest stories of the winter because they've got such a long way to make up. 9-10 months of development after last year's car didn't work out. The car looks good so far, none of the bouncing we saw last year, but they'll know more after today. Meanwhile, George Russell has been selling himself, saying that he has more to give entering his second season with the Silver Arrows. In 2022, Mercedes had a challenging season and lost their 8-year record of winning constructors' titles. However, Russell's performance was impressive as he managed to outperform his teammate and 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton. During his first season with Mercedes, Russell secured the team's only race victory of the year and finished 2 positions ahead of Hamilton in the final championship standings, earning 35 more points. This success marked the first time that Hamilton was defeated by a teammate since Nico Rosberg in 2016. Russell attributed his growth as a driver and his ability to cope with the sport's demands to the support of the Mercedes team, while also recognizing that there is still room for improvement. As Russell's determination to surpass his limits remains strong, it is encouraging for the upcoming season, and he aims to sustain his upward progress and contend at the pinnacle of motorsport. Russell clarified, "I think the great thing with Formula One in this sport is that it's constantly evolving, and it's a new challenge every single year. There's definitely still room to improve, and I feel that fills me with confidence, because I still felt like I performed at a very high level, even though that I know I've got a lot more in my pocket. I think the main one is probably just the tire management. It's something Lewis is very good at, maximizing the stints and getting the most out of the tires across a stint. That year, under my belt, being teammates with him, seeing some of his traits has been really beneficial for me. So I feel like I was on quite a steep learning curve in that regard. But still, I feel like I've got a lot more to come." To add to that, the young British driver went on to say, "Looking back on those races, I would say most of the reasons were from trying too hard, and that was a big lesson I learned, that sometimes the harder you try and the more you push, sometimes the result isn't better. You've got to be very disciplined with yourself sometimes in your approach of knowing how hard to push yourself. It's the same if you went to the gym every single day and was doing maximum bench presses every single day. At one point, you're probably going to injure yourself. It's not the most efficient way to get stronger. That's representative of racing. If you go out there and you drive the thing in anger, pushing it beyond the limit every single lap, that is not the fastest way to drive. Those races were probably validation for me." What are your thoughts on the W14? Will it be the car to beat this season? Or will more issues show up along the way and derail Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton from yet another title? And will George Russell pose a threat to the 7-time world champion in his second year as his teammate? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell for the latest F1 news.